Your secrets, if you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being your brother's keeper? Nowadays, kids more worried about the refund.
Hey guys, today I'd like to take some time to review the top 3 streaming media services on the internet as a follow-up to my cutting the cord video that I did a few weeks ago. Now, these are just my opinions and my observations with each service, but I did do my best to make them as objective as I can. Anyway, first up is Hulu Plus. Now, we could talk about Hulu Free Edition for the computer, but as of late, Hulu has been organizing very persistent redirects to their subscription page instead of allowing you to just access your free services as normal without a very specific link, which is hulu.com/free, which is basically telling you that they don't want you to go to their free services. They want you to pay and only pay. Another thing is that even when you pay the base amount for Hulu Plus, you still have commercials. And I feel if you subscribe to a service, you shouldn't have to pay an extra amount in order to get commercial-free programming. Commercials should be limited to those services that are free, and therefore the only way that they get paid is through ad revenue, like through Google AdSense or other services. But in this case, having no ad revenue from, or having plenty of revenue from the subscriptions, I don't understand why they have you pay extra just to be able to watch ad-free, unless they're really that greedy, which they probably are. My next, the next streaming service on my list is Netflix. Now, many of you are probably expecting Netflix to be the number 1 out of the top 3. However, while it is a great improvement over Hulu Plus for the price, I do believe that it has some foibles as well. Whereas Hulu Plus has almost immediate updates to its TV shows, Netflix can go months without an update to a show's seasons. And in fact, there are quite a few shows that are a season or more behind. And also, Netflix is highly constrained by contracts. So if you have sorry, I've been tired lately. If you have a specific show that you like, don't get too attached, because come contract renewal time, it may end up getting pulled because the contract's renegotiation takes longer than expected. That also brings me to another point. As far as their content goes, they seem to be stagnating. I mean, they're focusing more on updating independent titles and shows rather than the big budget titles. And also there are Netflix exclusives, but a lot of them are just plain lackluster and possibly even completely bust as far as the way that they're put together. Not to mention their reinterpretations of certain um, TV series that we all know and love from back in the 80s and 90s, for example, Inspector Gadget or um, a few other shows that I can't remember. Oh, Mr. Peabody and Sherman and other shows. They leave a lot to be desired as far as follow ups to the original series. Um, with that said, for $9.99, Netflix is marginally a good option. However, for the fallbacks that it has with shoddy programming, especially when it comes to the recommendation algorithm, where we watch mainly religious shows and then it shows horror movies and thrillers rather than more religious stuff and more kids oriented stuff. Those drawbacks tend to make me think that they're not the best streaming service out there. Coming up first on the list is Amazon Prime. Instant video, instant movie, 2-day shipping for free, um, cloud storage for your pictures and photos, um, access to lightning deals 30 minutes early. I mean, the list goes on, and how can I say any more? They have thousands of TV shows and movies. They have over 1 million different music tracks to listen to. And they have some pretty good deals for those that have Prime membership. And really, for the cost of $99 a year, which comes out to be even less than the payments that you would pay on Netflix once it gets bumped up to $10 a month, you've got yourself a pretty sweet deal. Although you've got the yearly $99 payment, or you've got the monthly $10.99 payment, which comes out to around $120, possibly even $130. That's not exactly the best thing if you can't pay the $99 up front and can only afford to do the $10 and something a month. I mean, you're still getting quite a lot more services for your money, but at the same time, if you're making monthly payments, you're actually paying a significantly larger amount, or at least a marginally larger amount, about 30% of the actual yearly price. But I digress. I really do. Another point is that there are free streaming options out there. Off the top of my head, I can think of Crackle, which is a free TV and movie streaming service powered by Sony Motion Pictures. I also think of Pluto TV, which is a streaming service that it curates content from sources like like Dailymotion and YouTube and even a Facebook video and other online content sites, and aggregates them into constant streams based on a specific theme. It's got sports, it's got a TED channel, it's got kids shows, it's got gaming shows, it's got a channel dedicated to IGN, you've got news, you've got weather, you've got whatever you want. Granted, the service does have shoddy reception at times, and there have been quite a few times where I've looked for a specific show or a specific channel on my PS3 and have not found it because the platform for the console and the platform for the PC seem to not have synchronized yet completely. There are also many other options out there if you're willing to find them and use them and dedicate yourself to really figuring out how they work. Um, and most of these services can actually be found or used either through a computer or even through an Android or Apple device. I think of, off the top of my head, the MX series of set-top boxes, which are Android powered and come with the full library of Android apps, not just Android TV apps, but even Android mobile apps. Granted, since they're Android mobile, they won't necessarily work the same way on your TV, on your set-top box, but for the for the apps that allow you to stream media from just about anywhere, this is pretty much your best bet. Um, Most of these set-top boxes can go for as low as $40, or if you want really high-end models, you can even go up to like $200, $300. Um, there's also a free application called Kodi, which is a well, I say successor, but it's really just a name change. But it's the successor to XBMC, which started out as a custom operating system for the original Xbox in order to turn it into a media center. And it eventually became available for Android and for PC. I'm not so sure about iOS or Mac, but I'm pretty sure that you could find a way to run it on there too. You have many different options with Kodi. You can add personal preference plugins. If you like if you want to watch live TV, you can set up a service like US TV Now, or even just plugging your TV tuner to your computer and have XBMC run as the guide program and the live streaming for your internet, or your antenna or cable channels. Um, you have plenty of options as far as different free streaming services, including Genesis, which is one of the largest sources of streaming media on XBMC or Kodi. You also have plenty of apps that are readily available to install, or add-ons to install right as you boot up the system without needing to add any repositories or anything else. And it's actually quite a unique and very well thought out system. Granted, there are faults, and if you're not really technically minded, there are going to be times where you go to use a plugin and it will say something along the lines of it not being compatible or not being configured correctly, and you'll probably spend at least half an hour on the forums trying to find a particular solution for your problem. But usually, if you've had the problem, everyone's had the problem, and therefore, there's some solution out there that you can find pretty easily. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you guys know about my pick for the top out of the 10. My pick for the best streaming services out of the top 3. And the winner would be Amazon Prime, just because that it's not just a video streaming or music streaming service, but it offers other value that makes the yearly cost of $100 quite worth the money compared to services like Netflix and Hulu, which tend to have lackluster service in comparison. And even though I'm basing this comparison off of the fact that Amazon Prime has more than just the streaming applications for you, I really like the streaming aspect the most. The free 2-day shipping and access to deals and stuff is just icing on the already pretty tasty and pretty expensive and premium cake. Anyway, I thank you for watching. You all have a nice day. I'll see you in the next video. Also, yes, I have gas. I'm sorry.